Hello, wonderful people, men and women of good conscience and lovers of freedom all over the globe. We welcome you back once again to our News Digest. And this is Nicky Bobby channel where we bring you reliable news across Biafra land and beyond. Today is the 14th day of September 2022. Today is Wednesday to be precise. We must say good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, depending on your time zone. We have some interesting news that we want to bring to you this day to show you how things are going around in Biafra land. Of course, before we go into it, we want to use this opportunity to implore you to subscribe to our channel as well as to give us thumbs up and share to our videos to those who might need it. We have a very recent development here that is going on as regards to the Amnesty International, their reaction in respect to the Nigerian government and their security forces adopting the Biafrans. And there is a new development here. Amnesty International welcomes the release today, that is the 14th day of September 2022, of Sunday Nwafo, who is 59 years, also one Ejiofor, who is 49 years, and Wilfred Dike, who is 36 years. They were all arrested by officers of the Zoological Republic Army on the 27th day of February 2020 at Imo River community in Abia State. Imo River is the place that they have common boundary with River State, with Obimo. They were held at 14 Brigade Nigeria Army or Hofia, Abia State for well over 2.5 years. Their release follows Amnesty's international campaign and call for their freedom, including as recent as 2 weeks ago. Amnesty International urges Nigerian authorities to provide information about the status of the other victims of enforced disappearance and incommunicado detention, grant their families and lawyers access to them, charge them to court, or release them in the absence of any legal authority used to justify their continued detention. Exactly the point today, these 3 men were released from Ohofia military zone. Of course, over the years, this is what has been going on right from the year 2010 or so. It has been the Zoological Republic forces, their government, crushing on Biafrans. And Amnesty International just came up and published sometimes a few weeks ago, or should I say 2 weeks ago, and the Zoological Republic, the DSS, and the army came to deny. But today, it has started yielding some fruit. But sometimes you might be asking yourself, why will these things be taking time? Amnesty International know about these things before now. Why did it take them such a lengthy time for them to publish? Now some people might say that they are looking for evidence, but evidence is always there. Evidence is always there. And following that is the current marasmus that is going on in the Zoological Republic political system. And the zoo is always a joke, you know. This is a situation that is going on. It's a situation of assassination plot, which the Labour Party raised issue earlier that they receive an interest. Well, of course, how this is started was from the spokesperson of APC, Kayemó. So Festus Kayemó, he was the one that raised the issue first. He alleged that P2B want to frame up an assassination attempt and in order to blame APC. And because of that, issues came up. But at the end of the day, it is finally noted that it is the spokesperson of APC, Kayemó, that really raised that issue. And as such, Labour Party decided to ask the Zoological Republic to place him on a watch list for terrorism. The leadership of the Labour Party on Tuesday called on law enforcement agencies to place the spokesperson for the All Progressive Congress Presidential Campaign Council and the Minister of State for Labour and Employment, Mr. Festus Kayemó, on security watch list. The party disclosed this in a statement issued by his National Publicity Secretary, Abayomi Arabambi. The opposition party demands was a response to Kayemo's allegation that the presidential candidate of Labour Party, Mr. P2B, was planning to fake an assassination attempt and hire some reporters or supporters dressed in the APC cap and as well as T-shirt to attack his party offices. But in a swift response to the call for him to be placed on the watch list, Kayemó also called on security agencies to look towards P2B. Well, these are the ideas that Kayemó is bringing. You know PC and you know their leader. He is the leader of touts in Lagos, Jagaban. There is nothing else he knows how to do except to gather touts and fight. So we know that this will be a difficult task for him to do. Of course, this is what is going on in the Zoological Republic. And the fuming over this boss of Kayemó on Tuesday, Arababi described the minister's action as treasonable conduct, and that warranted him being placed on the watch list of terror by security agencies in the Zoological Republic. The statement partly reads, President Muhammadu Buhari must now say a matter of urgency direct the service chiefs to place Festus Kayemó and other APC presidential campaign members and supporters on a security watch list, as they are now a threat to democracy ahead of 2023 general election. I call on the Inspector General of Police to urgently commence a comprehensive investigation into Mr. Kayemó's unlawful and treasonable activities. His conducts are likely to cause breach of peace and anarchy in our country if this ugly trend is not nipped in the bud and can be made to face possible prosecution in the courts of law. He said, this is the situation, APC, what they're able to do. Going on to, I still want to dive into this issue of presidential election as regards to Mr. P2B. I just want to share my opinion here because I see what was going on before now, that APC is really, in fact, the entire Zoological Republic, including PDP party, they are really up against P2B. What is the issue? Some time ago, yesterday we even brought you this information. That's why Yoruba man wrote that Yoruba shouldn't vote for P2B, which we told you the reason he gave. He said if P2B becomes the president, that the economy will be moved down to the east, which means there will be seaports in Delta, there will be seaports in Port Harcourt, which is in Guacha, River State. Although there is seaport in River State already, but he was referring to walking war, because all these ones are not operating. You have to go to Lagos to bring whatever you want. So the Yorubas, in a way, or should I be specific on this, this Yoruba man who published that said that because of that reason, when it is done, that the Yorubas, Lagos, will lose their resources and investments, because that it is the Igbos who develop Lagos and who makes the resources and the investments in Lagos to be turning up. So is that the best thing to say? I'm just sampling opinion. And because of that, P2B now decided to make it public. I don't even know if he's the one that made it public. But the idea is that they said they had a video where P2B asked somebody beside him to read that comments. Now, the Zoological Republic is coming up that P2B, for him to have asked somebody to read that comment, means that he is inciting ethnicity in the tribalism in the Zoological Republic as regard to the presidential election. You see how the zeal reason. The person that wrote that particular article or message is not even the one they are referring to. They are not turning around P2B that for him to deliberate on that, it means tribalism. Can you see what Nigeria is turning to? Well, if no, it's not what they are turning. That is what they have been. They have made a lot of policies of late. They said that no presidential candidate should be supported by those in diaspora. That if they find anybody who is being supported or being sponsored by those in diaspora, that they will disqualify the person and they will send the person to prison. That is the policy that INEC and the FG is making now. We know where those things boil down. They said that if any of them go to church to campaign, that they will join the person. All these things put together, I look ahead of where these things are leading to. P2B, he has made a lot of comments, meaningful one, and when you look at him, you find out that he is coming with his mind not to steal. He wants to come to really deliver Nigeria from his own standpoint and from what I can understand. But it's not where everything stops. He is looking towards developing agriculture in Nigeria. I don't think that it will be necessary. My advice to P2B, sometimes you hear him mentioning about Niger States, the massive land they have in the north, as well as the middle belt. He will turn into agricultural hub that will feed the entire West Africa. Yeah, that's good. But this is the same thing, that this ideology, this notion was the same notion that Zeke had earlier. Zeke wanted to turn Africa and Nigeria into Pan-Africa. So he was looking at those areas of vast landmass in the north, say that it could be turned to a very good agricultural project. But look at it, over 60 years till now, those landmass in the north has not been utilized for anything. Instead, the Northerners are abandoning their land They claim that they have a vast land. Their bodies are coming to Biafra. Yet they claim that they don't have land. Is that not ironic? You say that you have 70% of the entire land in the Zoological Republic. But you are leaving that 70%. You are migrating to the place you say they have 50%. So what I'm trying to say here is that ideology, that foresight of trying to utilize the land in the north, in Niger State to produce, I don't think it will work. Because those lands has been inhibited by all the Fulani group, being sponsored by the FG himself. So at what point will we be able to fulfill this? This is the dream that Zeke had. Zeke couldn't fulfill this dream till today. It's still the same ideology that P2B is serving. He will utilize the land. I'm not saying that something is wrong, but what is the possibility of delivering? Will those cabals in the Zoological Republic allow him to operate? It's the question I'll be asking. Under which constitution is P2B going to operate? Are they going to change the constitution? The answer is no. So there is nothing much he can do. If left for me, I will advise P2B to focus his efforts and energy on trying to say how to restore Biafra. And as soon as that is done, any political, any economic acumen he wants to replicate, he wants to display, let him display it in Biafra land for the economy and the progress of Biafra. We have land, we have body of water. I've listened to him on so many occasions when he's talking about Netherlands that have very small land, that have water. Netherlands, they sell their body of water. Just like if you come to a place, we sell plot of land to people.